Thank you for joining me today for another dose of virtual vitamin Z. My name is Akilah, educator with the Detroit Zoological Society. Now today, we're going to be taking a closer look at something all animals have in their habitat at the Detroit Zoo. Can you think of it? Another clue is that it can be found in their habitat as a solid, a liquid, or a gas. Last clue. When you see it in their habitat, you may see them drink from it, swim in it, or they may live in it. If you said H2O or water, you're absolutely correct. So before we continue, I'd like to say thank you so much to our amazing viewers out there. Thank you so much for sharing the work that we're doing as we share the stories of the animals at the Detroit Zoo. It means a lot to us. Make sure you continue to leave questions or comments or even topics that you think that you would like for us to cover. Now, I can't promise that we'll get to all of your topics, but we sure can try. So, the goal of the day, some skills and concepts we're going to be looking at, are experimenting, data collection, analyzing data, science reasoning, and we're going to be talking about the properties of water. And this is something that we're going to cover over a couple of sessions. So we're not going to get it all in today. We're going to be introducing or reintroducing the words solvent, hardness, and element. So all of the animals at the Detroit Zoo, they use water in some kind of way. So be sure to keep tuning in because we're going to check on one of the animals today who live in the water. They drink the water, and we also may see them swimming in it or playing in it as a source of enrichment for them. All right. So this is what H2O looks like. It's made up of two elements, of two hydrogens and one oxygen. And at the Detroit Zoo, there are many tests that are going to be done in every body of water throughout the zoo to ensure the safety for all the animals. We have an entire team that's devoted to this. It's called the Aquatic Life Support Team. And these are some of the tools that they use. They have to use pH meters that look something like this. Or maybe the strips every now and then when they go off site. So the reason why pH is so important is because it's an indicator if there has been a chemical change to the water for some of the animals at the zoo. If so, that means certain solutions will need to be added to regulate the water so that it's safe for them to drink and to swim. Now, hardiness is going to be important too, and they can use this colorimeter to do that. And these are some of the tools that they use at the Detroit Zoo just to test every body of water. Now, hardness is going to be important because it can show the indication of certain metal elements present in our water, such as lead. So this is an element too, that if too much of it is going to be present in our water, it can be toxic to the aquatic life and to people who ingest it at high quantities. And this one right here, this one right here at the bottom, they can use this tool to test for bacteria. We need to make sure there's no bacteria in the water for our animals at the zoo and for the water that we're going to be ingesting and drinking. Now, they're responsible for all of the water throughout the entire zoo. So that means they have to check the water that the animals are swimming in, that they're drinking in, and that they're going to be living in on a day-to-day basis. That's how much water is going to be important to us. So let me introduce you to four friends. We're going to waddle over to check these guys out today. So be sure to be looking out for this guy right here. This is one of the largest penguins at the zoo, and that's the king. The next one that we have is the Gentoo. The third penguin, in terms of size, there we go, is the Macaroni. You may know him by the feathery hairs that he has. And the Rockhopper. So currently the penguins are living at the Penguinarium, while their home at the Polk Penguin Conservation Center is going to be renovated. So I'd like to show you exactly what these guys are doing with some video that we have. And you can check on the penguins anytime that you like, day or night. And they can be found on the Detroit Zoo's website for the live feed. We got it going. All right, so let's check these guys out. I'm not sure if it's going to be feeding time for them. Make it a little bit larger so you can see. Let's see what these guys are doing. Oh my gosh, they're super active right now. They're swimming around in that water. They're doing that little waddle that they do. I see some kings. I think I may see some gentoos. I can't quite tell. But these are so amazing. All of our animals at the Detroit Zoo, they have to have water, just like how we have to have water. It's something that we all must have. So, I'm gonna let you guys look at this a little bit longer. I know it's pretty exciting to see that these guys are so active. They love when they swim in the water. Right now they're at the Penguinarium, at the Polk Penguin Conservation Center that's being renovated right now. They can dive up to 25 feet. So you can see some of their natural behaviors here as well. This one right here is taking his time, looks like a king, trying to check out what he's doing. Oh, I think one might dive in the water. We have to watch this for a little while longer. Is one gonna take a swim? I'm not sure. All right, maybe you guys can check back a little bit later to see what they're gonna be doing. So, like I said before, water is gonna be very important. We have an entire team that is gonna be checking on not just the penguins, but all animals. So I'm gonna show you an activity today where you can check out the water that's in your home. Some materials that you need for this activity, for this experiment, are going to be 3 cups or bottles with lids, preferably clear. You're going to need a measuring cup, tap water. You're going to need to boil some of that tap water. You're going to need enough water to add some salt in. You're going to need some liquid dish soap, data collection sheet, and I'll show you exactly how to create that. You'll need a pencil and a stopwatch. So I'm going to show you what I did. I took some clear bottles that I had laying around the house, some bottles of water, and I put 8 ounces of tap water in each one of those. But now this one is tap water. The second one was boiled water, so I did boil some of that tap water. And this one right here is the third one is going to be tap water added with some salt. And I used about a tablespoon of salt. All right? And we're going to be testing the hardness of water. So what that means is that we're going to be looking for the suds that are there. How long is that going to be until the suds go away? So lathering. This is going to be focusing on how the water in your home is going to lather with soap. So you see right here on the very far end, I added 1 drop of soap. I added 1 drop of soap to the boiled water and 1 drop of soap to the tap water that had the salt in it. Now I did make sure that the salt was nice and dissolved. I wanted to see exactly what that lather was gonna look like in that water. So the less soap that it has, it means the harder the water is. And so after I shook it, I wanted to see what it looked like after 30 seconds, and that's what it looked like. And so I did a comparison. So you see I have 30 seconds compared to about 5 minutes, and I kept them in order. And then about 10 minutes later, I took another photo to see what it was going to look like. And I noticed they were still pretty much, not so much the same, but I saw that the suds were decreasing in the bottle that had just the tap water in it. There were still more suds in the bottle of water that had the salt and the suds. Now, I took it a little bit further. I wanted to see exactly, well, I know I used to blow bubbles as a kid with soap and water, so I wondered what it was like. So I did try it out. I didn't really get a great video of it, so maybe I can show it to you guys next time. But I wanted to see that if I added dish soap with the salt water, or if I boiled the water, would it make a difference? I kind of noticed that it was still a little bit thicker with the tap water by itself with the soap. So this is the data collection sheet that I created. And I just did 1 trial, and I watched it for 30 seconds. I didn't put my results for 5 minutes, so maybe you all can see the results. So I talked about how we collect data, but we need to analyze that data. What does that look like? So it's really important that we have a results table, that we have some observations. So we're trying to see exactly the hard to soft water. So I ranked them. The tap water was considered the most hard because it had the least amount of suds. Then it was the boiled water, and then it was the salt water. All right, and it's really important for us to analyze this data. So based on some of the findings that I had after the 30 seconds, between 30 seconds to 5 minutes, I noticed that the tap water was still considered the most hard, And what was considered the most soft water was going to be the water that had the salt added and the drops of soap. So there were some lessons that I learned. As scientists, we make mistakes along the way. I thought this was going to be a really simple experiment. And I noticed that, I probably should have had a ruler. Maybe that's something that you can add to your experiment. I noticed that I would want to maybe try out some other detergents. I would want to compare other sources of water. So maybe having some rainwater. Put a bucket outside. Collect some of that rainwater and compare it to the water from your faucet. And then I was like, I probably should have kept the camera at the same angle if I wanted to get a really, really good look and a really good comparison to show you guys. But I saw with my own eyes, and so I definitely saw a difference. All right, so just a reminder, we have an entire team of folks at the Detroit Zoo who looks at the water. They're called the Aquatic Life Support Team, and they do such an amazing job. They just can't go around with just the basic tools, but there are some basic tools that we can use in our home to check out the water. Maybe you may notice that you may need to add a filtration system on your water system at home, and that's completely fine. Maybe you want to conduct a few more other experiments. So I would like for you to join me for another session of another dose of virtual vitamin Z as we talk about some more properties of water and some more things that you can do. And just to recap, today we talked about experimenting. We did the experiment with the water and the soap, talking about the hardness and how water is soft. We collected data. We had to analyze that data. We had to use some science reasoning skills, comparing it, putting things in order. And we talked about the properties of water. All right. So before we end today, I like to end with a joke. And my joke today is, how does the ocean say hello? Give up and wave. So thank you again for joining me for this dose of virtual vitamin Z. Make sure that you like and follow the Facebook page and share it. You'll get some notifications and some updates, and you can hear from some of my other friends and colleagues at the Detroit Zoo. Thanks again for tuning in. Take care, and we'll see you soon.